Welcome to the Beyond Cinema Studio, Tiff, Allison, Frank. Firstly, congratulations on having the dog up here at Tiff.
Thanks. Yeah, it's great.
So talk to me about the feelings that filmmakers have on the cusp of this kind of big release. I mean, Tiff's an important place, and so what are the nerves doing, or is it all kind of cool as cucumbers for you guys?
Should I start? Sure. Basically, for us, we just literally finished this film, we're still finishing it essentially, so the whole summer has been like a total roller coaster. So we've had so many other things to deal with that this is almost like the fun part. It just feels like we finally get to be out with the movie somewhere and, not be up till 4 a.m. trying to find a missing shot or redo the sound mix or something. So it's just literally days after we've finished the actual film. We've never had a proper public screening, so it's actually this is super exciting, and it's obviously a great festival. It's a premiere,
Yeah.
We're sort of like a crowd pleaser / potential crowd offender. So, I think it's a fun movie to go see. So, we're not too nervous about the screening, but I'd say we went to check out the theater where we're going to world premiere, and that was butterflies.
Yeah.
That once we're in the movie theater, then I think we're going to be flipping out.
So what compelled you? Why should we know about this guy, John Wojtowicz? Why should we know about him?
Why should you? I don't think that you have to know about him, but you're missing out if you don't get to see him, because there's not that many people that you see on the big screen that has zero filter the way he does, and has such a huge personality, and has lived sort of what we call, the clean version of this is sort of like a screwed up Forrest Gump life through the 60s, 70s, up until present day in America. So, I think it's kind of like this wild ride for people to go on, and we went through a roller coaster with him in real life. So we kind of want the audience to experience that.
Did you know him, how early on did you know him? You guys worked together, Witches in Exile was, what, 9 or 10 years ago? That played at South by?
They actually overlapped.
Yeah, they overlapped,
Yeah.
We started this one before we finished the other, which... this one was a strange beginning. We were looking for one movie which was really the first thing that comes to mind, what's the story behind Dog Day Afternoon? We thought this guy might be coming out of prison at that time because we miscalculated. And we looked him up, found his mother, called him up, and from the get-go, I think there was immediately a turn, because we knew the second we met him, the first meeting was 8 or 9 hours in a bar. He never stopped talking. He was this really wild and very unique person. So we knew immediately, okay, it's a whole different story, and it is about that story, but it's about that guy. And then, we spent about 5 years just really getting to know him and shooting on and off and getting to know his mom and all that. And there's more stories after that, but it from the get-go we knew okay, this is a very unique guy, not a hero, not what you expect, but immediately got our attention.
But definitely an anti-hero in a sense.
Yeah.
Because,
very much so.
So inherently likable for his honesty and his wanting to be loved by everybody. Obviously he opened up to you guys for a number of hours on your first meeting, and you get that feeling straight away that you just see that he wants to talk to people about what he's going through or what he's gone through. So was that also a huge challenge for you, is limiting him, and what do you choose to leave out?
Well, that was really tricky, but just from the beginning, I feel like the first year we filmed him, we got the obvious story. The story that anyone would get, because he'll talk anybody's ear off. But going deeper and getting more of kind of his backstory and some of the private things that he wouldn't always share, that's what we got later. That's what we didn't expect. So I think that it became a much deeper film as we went along. And then in terms of trying to control him, I don't think you can. He wants to be in control all the time. So you have to maneuver your way around that cautiously. But we had so much story when it came to the editing. We could have made 3 different films.
Was that also a surprise for you that you kind of stumbled across this kind of greater context of the gay rights movement at the time as well? Or was that part of the original outset, that you were interested in this guy from that facet too?
No, it was sort of a discovery. I mean, there was part of the discovery was also finding the right footage, which we didn't know existed. We started coming across things that hadn't been seen by other people. I mean, we met somebody who'd filmed a lot of those things that John took a part in. And also, I want to say, I mean, he wasn't really himself like a prominent activist. You know, it's just something that, again, he was part of. He sort of rode the wave. So we never planned it like that, but as we sort of let him tell his story, and from there we found the footage to explore it afterwards. And I think because also the footage is pretty amazing, it took, you know, a lot of importance in the film. But we weren't like specifically, we didn't set out to be like, okay, let's make a film about the gay rights movement of that era, for example, you know. Yeah. And I'm not sure, I'm sure a lot of the people that he knew at the time would, like, you know, disown him of any role he might have played, because he, again, I think he was a regular guy. He was at that time, at that place, at the right moment, accidentally almost.
Dog Day Afternoon was such a huge movie, obviously, in the 70s, and part of that whole landscape of movies that was so thought of as so important and as a kind of golden era of filmmaking, especially in the US. Al Pacino playing that role, somewhat based on this guy, must be a thrill for anyone. Did he ever get to meet Pacino, and did you guys get a no from Pacino on talking to him, or was that not even on the topic?
Well, they never met. In fact, he met the screenwriter Frank Pearson, I think it was 2005. We actually filmed them meeting for the first time. It's not in the film, but I'm sure it'll show up in a DVD extra or something else. Al Pacino, we are getting him a copy of the film so he can see it, but no, we didn't get a no from him. We just, once you see the film, you know, originally on our list of people to interview, all the people who were part of Dog Day Afternoon we were hoping for, and then we ended up just realizing that the film was about this real person. So we just never went in that direction.
Fair enough too, but you know, it is an empathetic portrait in a sense, and it's hard not to do that, I guess, for filmmakers spending so much time with someone and kind of going through and meeting all their family members. Does that feel weird as well, because he declares himself a pervert from the outset?
I love perverts.
Well, he was, you know, this is, it's interesting that you say from the outset, because what we tried to do in the end was, the day we met him again, like going back to that first meeting, it was immediately like that with him. Like there was zero honeymoon. It was just full on in a public place, you know, like.
There was groping.
And in a way, I think we tried to put the audience through a little bit of the same ride in the film without disclosing too much. But I mean, we tried to, even if he wanted to be in control of the film, instead of trying to wrestle that, you just try to show that. You try to, you know, you take 2 steps back and you let the guy be the kind of personality he is on screen through whatever, you know, you have. And I think that's part of why the film is cut the way it is. That's why we let him speak a certain way without too much editing, although there was plenty. You know, we tried to give the various shades of emotion that he ran us through.
It's really kind of a difficult thing, I imagine, for you guys as well, because you were there with him at a time when he looked and appeared very healthy and solid guy, big guy, and then of course as you transition through, he becomes less strong. And so by the time, you know, you met him till today, a lot's changed in terms of who is still around and who's not. Is that kind of a bittersweet pill about this whole process?
Yeah, I mean, when we talk about the film, honestly, I'd say for us, the life experience we went through making this film was almost bigger. I mean, there's a lot that you don't see on camera that just took a toll on us in terms of making this film. And yeah, I mean, I think what's really nice though is that to see people in the theater laughing, and I think it's going to feel great. I know that, you know, it's something that would feel great for him too.
I guess, yeah. I mean, it was definitely, you know, part of the reason also it took so long was because there was a detour in the middle where we were like, okay, now this is happening for about a year. Now this other thing's happening for about a year. and we almost had to step back and like not necessarily shoot a lot for that time while all this stuff was going on with his health, with all that. And it was just, you know, that was a movie in and of itself that we could have made, but we didn't really want to make a movie about our involvement with it. And, you know, we thought the stronger story was really this guy's life story, which is a lot of past tense, you know.
Yeah.
And the present day stuff we shot a lot of. We probably have enough to make like a couple more movies, but it's just more like, that was just like also, you know, yeah, personally it'll get to you. I mean, it'll slow you down quite a bit until you can like revisit the footage and do something with it, you know.
Yeah, and we didn't know starting out that, I mean, I don't even know if I'd use the word bittersweet except for personally how we feel, because if we hadn't started when we did, I mean, no one could have ever made this film. So.
So congratulations on getting it done, getting it here, and look forward to hearing how you enjoy watching it on big screen with an audience.
Thanks.
Very cool.
Thanks
for
a
spending
lot.
a few minutes with us.